Welcome back to HHI-TV. We're here now with Miss Charlie Clark. How are you?
Good, good.
She is the Vice President in Communications of the Hilton Head Island Bluffton Chamber of Commerce, for anybody that doesn't know that. I think everybody knows who you are. So with school right around the corner, believe it or not, you have some great ways for the community to get involved.
Is it amazing, y'all? I can't believe school is right around the corner.
The shortest summer ever.
I think people always know the Chamber's involved in business and networking and all those things, but I don't think people really understand how close we are tied to the schools. And it's this time of year especially, we do a thing called Project Connect. And its main goal is to connect the business community and the community in general with what teachers need in the classroom. You know, teachers literally spend over $500 out of their pockets, their own pockets, every year for basic school supplies. You remember those bulletin boards that looked so great when you went in? Well, those don't just happen. So we, along with the Island Packet, we publish a weekly wish list. Teachers say, I need everything from, you know, I need paper, I need bulletin board supplies, do I need, you know, we'd really love an aquarium. We're talking about fish, and we'd like, you know, and the community has really answered in droves. I mean, since the program started, I think over $36,000 has been utilized through the Chamber and through the Business Connection. So that's something we do that's really important. That
as the husband of a teacher, I'm hoping y'all raise some more of that money.
Absolutely.
What you're saying is at least $500.
It is.
She really
That's
does
the average.
Money.
You do. You spend
since
your own money.
we don't pay our teachers enough.
Right.
Yeah, it makes the classroom just a little more special, and I think it helps teachers do that sigh of relief, you know?
Well, what kind of like impact has that had here in the Low Country of like, you know, bringing the level of education kind of up, you know, I guess for students?
Well, I think it, you know, it's a number of things. Like you said, it gives the teachers a chance to sigh. It makes the classroom a more exciting place when they have things like that. You know, one year it was so great. One of our donors, who was anonymous, actually there was a trip of high school kids going to Washington, D.C. Not all the kids could afford to go, so they made sure the kids could afford to go. Aww. So there are these kids who got this experience that they normally,
would have never had.
You'd be surprised at the amount of kids who haven't really been outside of the Low Country. So it's just opening doors, opening horizons, letting kids know there's something else out there.
Right. That's awesome. Well, I think that's a huge miscommunication. You know, everybody goes, oh, they live on Hilton Head. There's not much of a middle class on
There's a need. There's definitely a need on Hilton Head. You know, there are students going to school, you know, some basics. You know, there are charities built around it, like Backpack Buddies and different things that help that process. You're right. It's not a community that where wealth is rampant everywhere. There's definitely a need here.
Right. And I know, like with me personally, like I was in the band all the way through kind of a band nerd all the way through high school. But our booster program pretty much sent all of us anywhere that we wanted to go, and we traveled pretty extensively. And it's just nice to be able.
It's important.
It is, because I couldn't imagine like my education without it. You know,
expand your horizons.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So businesses locally want to get involved. If you know, I have a finance-based business. If I want to get involved, how do I go about doing that?
Well, there's a couple of ways. You can do it through Project Connect. You could check out the wish list, and as simple as, yep, I'm going to grant that wish this week. You can also get involved with what's called our Golden Apple program. You know, teachers work hard, and as you said, for sometimes not a lot of money. So, Golden Apple program, our chamber members actually offer perks and discounts, some pretty great things on everything from, you know, the things you need every day, your tires to restaurants. So if you're a business and want to be part of the Golden Apple program, you can give discounted services or perks to teachers and ancillary school personnel, administrators, the janitors, those people that work in the school system that also need that kind of, it's just a nice boost for them. So those are just a couple of ways with Golden Apple program and through Project Connect that the Chamber is helping support our schools.
That's great.
Wow, y'all are doing a ton. Also, you're doing some real life scenario stuff with them. How does that work?
Great. You know, this is probably one of my favorites, and actually it's one of the community's favorites. Is, you know, you always used to do the career fair. Remember the career fair? Well, we sort of helped, you know, partnered with the schools to put a new twist on that. Students are given a bank account based on their GPA and based on their education. So it's a real quick learning curve to figure out, wait a minute, it connects the two. If I do better in school, this is what happens. And so with this reality store, we call it, you have a budget and you have to pay for groceries and you have to make a mortgage payment, you have to make a car payment, and if you haven't, your GPA is not so hot, so you decide maybe your education's not going to, you know, go too much further, that impacts you and you see what that looks like in real terms. Is that
also the program? I feel like I've heard about something like this where you're assigned a specific job, or you say, okay, you're going to be X, or is this just solely based on?
It's solely based on, you know, it's financials and GPA. It really comes down to really wanting those kids to understand the connection between because it's hard sometimes. You're sitting in history class and you don't really get how is this going to impact me? Well, it's going to impact you. And so that puts it in, I think, real world terms that they can understand. I'm not going to be able to buy that iPhone this month because I don't have enough money. It's just not there.
I think that's huge because there's such a sense of entitlement. I think with kids in general, I swear I think it's worse here, but there is, my girls do the same thing. And I'll hear people say, oh, when we were 8, we didn't have an iPad, and we didn't have this, we didn't have that. And I'm like, oh, God. They do, but they work for their allowance, too.
Sure. It's making that connection sometimes is the most difficult thing for teenagers to do, especially. And so if you don't have everything handed to you, and you have to really take a hard look at what your life would look like if you decided not to go to college, or what your life would look like if you didn't do so hot and didn't get the direction you wanted to go. So I think it's been a real eye-opener, and it's great for the business community and for students to connect to one another. And the business community's been really involved in that. That's one of the other things we work with the schools on, Project Connect, to make that happen.
That's a really great network. Well, it sounds like it's a great way for the area businesses to support education here in the Lowcountry. So do you find that your business members get a lot of exposure through these programs?
Oh, sure they do. It's a large employer, the school district, so it gives them a lot of exposure. But I think really, quite frankly, most of them do it because it's that altruistic need that they have. They want to give back to the community, and I'm really thrilled. We just did an interview with the new superintendent, and he is very into the business education connection.
Well, the buzz about him, everybody's very excited.
People are excited. So I think that's going to be great. That leadership coming from him is going to be a great connector for business and schools, and with the chamber, we're all kind of working together, which is a great place to be.
So how can viewers learn more about the Chamber programs and joining the Chamber's Business Education Partnership?
They can just go to hiltonheadchamber.org, or they can call us at 785-3673 and get all the information on how to get involved in GAP, how to get involved in Project Connect, and what other business education partnership things are happening.
Awesome.
That's great.
You always are full of information.
The chamber does it all.
It's busy. It's a busy place. That's good.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being with us again, and make sure that you join us next time for 843 TV,
where communities come to speak.